world was stunned when Ronald DeFeo Jr., aka Butch, brutally murdered his entire family in their Amityville, New York home. The case took a bizarre twist just a year later when the Lutz family moved into the same house, but only to report terrifying paranormal events. So from unexplained cold spots and swarms of flies to claims of demonic forces and levitations, their encounters attracted the attention of paranormal investigators. The combination of these hauntings and the gruesome murders cemented 11 Ocean Avenue as a cornerstone of both true crime and the supernatural. In tonight's video, we explore the shocking mysteries that the investigators uncovered. The Amityville murders and hauntings story has terrified people for decades. Now, let's get into the story. Our story begins on the night of November 13th, 1974, in the quiet suburbs of Amityville, New York. At the age of 23, Butch committed an unimaginable act of violence against his own family. Armed with a rifle, DeFeo shot his parents, as well as his 4 siblings, while they slept. All family members were found in their beds, face down, without any signs of struggle. The sequence of events leading to the discovery was just as disturbing. The morning after the murders, Butch burst into Henry's Bar, a nearby local bar near his home, shouting at the top of his lungs that his family has been shot. Friends from the bar followed Butch back to his house where they encountered the gruesome scene. The police were called, and Butch was taken into the local police station for his protection after suggesting that the murders were a mob hit. While Butch claims this was a mob hit, however, under intense questioning, Butch's story began to fall apart. Initially claiming the mob hit was reasonable, but inconsistencies in his account led investigators to push harder. Eventually, Butch confessed to the murders, stating, "Once I started, I just couldn't stop. It went so fast." He claimed that these voices in his head were urging him to kill his whole family. During the trial, Butch's defense attorney, William Weber, attempted to establish his insanity plea, arguing that Butch was driven by demonic voices. However, prosecutors maintained that Butch was fully aware of his actions and their consequences. He was ultimately convicted on 6 counts of second-degree murder and sentenced to 25 years to life. The investigations into the DeFeo's murders raised several puzzling questions. For example, despite the loud noise of the rifle, neighbors reported hearing no gunshot, only the family dog barking. This led to speculation about the possibility of a silencer or that the victims had been drugged. Although toxicology reports came back negative on that, so likely there was a silencer, but it's not confirmed. Now, Butch threw a twist into his story after his conviction, stating that his sister Dawn was involved in the murders as well. Could Dawn DeFeo, the oldest daughter of the DeFeo family, have been involved in the infamous Amityville murders? To understand this theory, we first look at Rick Asuna, the investigative author behind the groundbreaking book The Night the DeFeos Died. Asuna's meticulous research challenges the accepted narrative, suggesting that Dawn DeFeo might have played a significant role in the murders. Asuna's theory suggests that Butch might not have acted alone. We must dive into the psychological and emotional dynamics within the DeFeo family. The DeFeo family was deeply troubled. Dawn's potential involvement may stem from her complex mix of fear, desperation, and psychological strain. Ron DeFeo Sr.'s abusive behavior created an atmosphere of fear and control that deeply affected his children, particularly Dawn, being the oldest. She was known to have confided in some friends about her plans to escape her father's dominance. This desperation could have driven her actions leading up to the murders. Dawn's autopsy revealed a close-range gunshot wound, which aligned with Butch's claim that he found her after she killed the others. However, this evidence was not conclusive. The close-range gunshot indicates a proximity to the weapon, but it does not definitively prove that Don was the shooter. Butch's confession has been inconsistent, with many versions emerging over the years. His 1992 appeal claiming that he wasn't the sole shooter was denied. This adds to another layer of complexity to the case. The inconsistencies in his statement and the denial of his appeal highlight the need for careful examination of all claims. The evidence remains circumstantial. Nonetheless, the courts and many people don't buy Butch's claim that his sister was involved in the murders. The family home sat empty for nearly a year before a new family would move in. And on December 1975, George and Kathy Lutz, along with their 3 children, moved into the house at 1112 Ocean Avenue. However, the Lutz family began experiencing terrifying supernatural phenomena almost immediately. George Lutz, who considered himself a skeptic before these events, claimed that he would wake up exactly at 3:15 every night, the approximate time when the DeFeos were murdered. Although the time frames have changed over the years, the exact time on it. But the family reported swarms of flies during the winter, strange odors, and sudden cold spots appearing in various parts of the room. One of the most disturbing events involved their daughter Missy, who spoke to an imaginary friend, Jodie, a demonic pig-like creature with glowing red eyes. George and Kathy also reported seeing eyes staring into the house from the outside, and their dog, Harry, was found to have tried hanging himself by jumping over a fence while chained. Now, maybe that was just a coincidence, but it is strange. But what's stranger is that the family discovered a small hidden room, almost sort of like a closet, in the basement that wasn't listed on the original blueprints. This room emitted an overwhelming sense of dread and was believed to be the source of paranormal activity. The situation escalated to the point where Kathy reported experiencing levitation, while George claimed he saw his wife transform into an old woman. At this point, the family's freaking out and very isolated. After only 28 days, the family fled the house, leaving their possessions behind, and sought refuge at Kathy's mother's home. Convinced that the house was evil, the family allows the house to be investigated, and the findings really are shocking. Before we go into the investigation findings, I want to thank the sponsors of this video. GlowNeo.com. GlowNeo specializes in custom-made neon signs. With my discount code DUF20, you can save 20% on your next order. And it also supports the channel. Okay, now let's get back into the shocking findings the investigators uncovered. The hauntings soon caught the attention of famous investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Warrens were known for their work on other high-profile cases like Poltergeist, the Annabelle doll, and declared that the Amityville house was infested with a demonic presence. During their investigations, Lorraine described a feeling of overwhelming sense of evil within the house. One of the most famous pieces of evidence was a photograph taken by an infrared camera, which seems to show a ghostly boy peering out of one of the bedrooms. This image has sparked debate and analysis, further adding to the allure of the haunted house. So the Warrens' findings played a significant role in cementing the house's reputation as one of America's most haunted locations. They believed that the violent history of the DeFeo murders attracted powerful evil forces to the house. Their reports detailed how they attempted to bless the house, but the entity was too strong that it resisted their efforts. The terrifying experiences of the Lutz family and the investigation by the Warrens were immortalized in Jay Anson's 1977 book, The Amityville Horror. The story of the Amityville Horror has inspired numerous films, sequels, remakes, documentaries, and TV shows, and YouTube videos. The house itself has become a symbol of haunted locations worldwide. The intense media attention turned 112 Ocean Avenue into a tourist hotspot, drawing curious visitors eager to see the Amityville Horror House. For locals, the notoriety has provided economic benefits, but for others, it has overshadowed the true character and history of their community. Over the years, the house has undergone many changes, including the window change. And let's be honest, it doesn't look as scary as it did with those windows. And they also changed the address to discourage tourists. Despite the controversies, the Amityville Horror remains a captivating mix of true crime and supernatural lore. It continues to intrigue audiences, raising questions and sparking debates about the nature of evil and the existence of the supernatural. The story serves both a source of fear and somewhat fascination, prompting countless investigations. Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, this story blends the line between reality and the unknown. Now, if you enjoy videos like this, you'll 100% enjoy the Biltmore House Haunted video here. Feel free to follow my social links in the description below. Also, please support the channel by subscribing and liking the channel. Thank you with my love. See you next time.